right. Happy Halloween, everybody, and welcome to this Channel Vision Magazine webinar with CVX Expo 24 Gold sponsor, SmartCIC. In this presentation, we're going to look at how to best monetize SD-WAN rollouts with fixed wireless access. I'm your moderator, Brady Hicks. I'm the managing editor of Channel Vision Magazine, and joining us are your hosts for today. First up, we have Toby Foreman. Toby, you are the group CEO. You're looking all skin and bones today, Toby. You feeling all right?
Yeah, I'm feeling cool. I'm getting in the holiday spirit.
All right. We also have Catherine Hemingway. Catherine is the director and chief impact officer for the company, and she is, of course, decked out in her finest. How you doing, Catherine?
I'm fine. I'm feeling a bit thirsty for a bit of blood, but all
Oh
good.
boy. All right, I'll stay on this side. We also have James Marsh. James is the wholesale and channel director for North America. What's going on, James?
Hey folks, happy Halloween. Good to be here. If you can't tell, I'm decked out as Frankenstein. I'm just missing the bolts.
Oh.
In true Halloween fashion, there's a chance my screen might go green. And if that does, I'm just going to go off camera, but excited to talk to everybody today.
Of course, yeah, and we're excited to talk with you as well. There's a chance we'll get that disembodied voice. We'll see. I also wanted to remind you guys that SmartCIC created this webinar to provide you with information. So if you have any questions along the way, just go to the Q&A icon there at the bottom of the page. We'll present those questions once the presentation is finished. All right, and now from me, I'm going to turn it over to Toby, Catherine, and James.
All right, guys. So we've prepared a 10 to 15 minute presentation. We don't want to bore you guys with a lot of details. We could definitely do follow-up calls afterwards. Please reach out to me by phone, email, text for any more information after today. Happy to engage with anybody. We feel there's a lot of opportunity out there and a lot of chances for us to work together on, as Brady mentioned, monetizing fixed wireless, getting revenue into your pockets faster, making sure your customers are happier, and keeping that momentum going. So I've been just a little background on myself. My background is primarily with Lumen. I was there for 14 years, 12 of those years in the wholesale and agent partner channel. It was definitely a very good run. And once I left Lumen, I got into the world of global connectivity. And now I'm at SmartCIC and really loving the culture and what we're bringing to our clients and our partners. So let's get into a little bit of the history of SmartCIC and why we should be working together. So SmartCIC, we've been around for about 15 or 16 years. We are headquartered in France, but our operations are global. We started out very small and began expanding primarily through Europe. And now we're in the US, we're in Canada, and we're in Latin America, Asia Pac, Australia, Africa, EMEA, you name it, we're there. Truly a global company. We have over 1,000 carrier partners spread across the world. We have 25,000 plus contracted field techs and field engineers, and that's the key part. And the reason why I think we differentiate ourselves from a lot of other fixed wireless aggregators out there and carriers is we have a force that we have vetted out over the last 15 years in terms of specialties, in terms of languages, cultural differences. For example, installation in the US is going to roll a lot differently than, let's say, in Germany, where you have a lot more stringency. That's going to be different, obviously, in APAC. So we have a force of field techs and engineers that are local to those areas, understand the cultures, speak the languages, understand the nuances of actually getting things like DMARC extensions, installations, cabling, dealing with the permits, the laws, things of that nature. It's anybody could order. I like to say anybody could order a connectivity circuit, but it takes a specialist to kind of get to the cross the finish line and make sure that your customers are happy as well. Can we go to the next slide? Thanks. Like I said, we are global. We're everywhere. We have a virtual NOC that's 24/7. It's a kind of a follow the sun philosophy. So we always have somebody online, a team that's online working with carriers, working with field techs. So if you have customers in California, those are being handled as well as customers in Australia. We have local NOC support there as well. So all across the world. As I said, we're headquartered in France, but we have major operations in Barcelona. We have operations in the US, the UK. We are setting up operations in LATAM, and a few other parts of Poland, as well as Australia and Singapore. So again, global. So as I mentioned, anybody could order a connectivity circuit, and that's the easy part. But to actually ensure that that circuit gets extended to the right spot, it's tested thoroughly, and the customer's happy, that's the challenge. So we've come up with something called through the line solutions, where we take control. By the way, you don't have to order the field service part as well as the connectivity part. We could do either or. However, we love marrying both of those parts together, because it gives us total control, which gives you total control and responsibility over the installation all the way through, so your customer is happy. The other super huge important part of that is we could get solutions, and that could be wireline solutions, it could be fixed wireless, it could be LEO, low Earth orbit solutions, point-to-point wireless solutions. We could get those solutions up a lot faster. I'm sure we've all run into a situation where a circuit gets dropped. All of a sudden, there's a he said, she said, who's supposed to extend the circuit? And then you're losing weeks, if not months, trying to get that finalized. So, for us, it's all about making sure you guys are getting circuits and your customers are getting circuits turned up fast enough, so you're monetizing that quickly. And that really kind of leads into fixed wireless and our ability to get fixed wireless circuits up, within days, as opposed to months with wireline circuits. So great, thanks. So going into fixed wireless, we're specialists. We've been doing the fixed wireless thing for 15 years, all in the US, all across the world. We understand the strengths and weaknesses of all the wireless carriers out there. So when we're doing fixed wireless installations, we're actually in the site surveys testing out for the top 2 strongest cellular carriers that we'll be using for that fixed wireless installation. We could do mobility solutions. We actually have a sister division, a technology division that is heavily involved in terms of proprietary technology for data mapping, strength signal mapping. There's a lot of enterprise solutions, and we won't go into that today. Maybe we could have some offline conversations, but we're doing things with enterprises such as establishing the data strengths in a mall or in a building, in the high rise. So really, really neat stuff. And when we say bespoke cellular solutions, we're doing things completely outside of the box. So not just your standard fixed wireless drop and play, but things that are really unique from an IoT perspective, and others as well. One of the things I do want to mention is, and I'll get into the solution, but a lot of our clients, what we're doing is we're calling it a lift and shift strategy. So let's say, for example, you have one of your clients and they order 20 locations, and they're wireline locations for the most part. We can install fixed wireless quickly within days. The standard in the US is 10 days, but if it's an emergency situation, we could do it in 48 hours. The rest of the world is 5 to 10 days as well. So as your clients are waiting for wireline service to come in, which as we know can be anywhere from 30 to 120 days, we could actually go in almost instantaneously, deliver internet service via fixed wireless, and you guys could begin monetizing that service immediately. Your customers are happy, and what we're finding in a lot of situations is uh, your end users are so happy with the fixed wireless that they're coming back and they're saying, hey, we'd love to keep this as a backup solution. So it's an additional source of revenue. The shift and the lift part is, as that DIA circuit, that wireline circuit is dropped into the customer's location and the fixed wireless solution is not needed, we're lifting it and shifting it to another location. So again, it's all about getting money into your pockets and going back to the customer satisfaction result. Next slide. I won't read this one, but essentially, it talks about a lot about the solution. We're not a super small company, but we're not very big, and we are agile. We'd like to think we're smart in terms of coming up with crafty solutions. And we're proactive, but we also react very, very, very quickly so we can make decisions quickly. We're not layered by a lot of bureaucracy. So, again, summarizing the benefits, it's that quick monetization of bringing revenue into your pockets with a quick, super fast install. The customers are happy. They'll appreciate the flexibility if they want to keep the FWA as a backup solution, or Leo, which we're now offering Leo low Earth orbit powered by Starlink. We could offer the service, the equipment, the installation, the maintenance, and the monitoring of those services. Feel free to reach out to us afterwards for more information on that. Again, the agility, the visibility. We offer 24/7, 100% monitoring of all circuits, whether they're wireline, fixed wireless, or Leo. Going back, we could deliver fixed wireless service in 48 hours or less. We actually have some LOAs with some really large customers where we have an hour and a half SLA to fix, down circuits. In the US, it's 4 to 5 working days or less, and around the world, it's 10 days or less to get service up and running. Again, 15 years we've been doing this, ton of experience. We are actively looking for hungry partners in the US to service field service work, fixed wireless work in the US and outside the US borders. So if you have customers that have locations, Canada, Mexico, Europe, LATAM, Asia Pac, we could definitely offer a global solution. There's my contact information. Definitely feel free to reach out to us as well. And I told you to be short and sweet so we could get out there and start trick-or-treating, but definitely want to open it up to any questions that you may have regarding these services, anything else that may have caught your eye, any case studies that you want to talk about, any solutions that you want to ask if they're possible. So I'll open it up.
For those attending CVX Expo this year, be sure to stop by booth 5000 to learn more.
But as you said, we'll be there in
Perfect.
Scottsdale in a couple of weeks. So we'll be pleased to meet with anybody and discuss further about what we can do.
All right, fantastic. And let me remind everybody that you can contribute to this discussion by clicking on the Q&A tab there at the bottom of your screen. Now, we had a couple come in from different channels. This one in particular, and I think it's a really good one to kind of start off. Why SmartCIC? I mean, James, you listed a bunch of reasons, but what really sets the company apart?
Yeah, I'll take that one, and then Toby and Catherine, if you want to jump on it. So, we started out as a connectivity company 15 years ago, but as our customers we started working with customers, and the common theme was, well, this is great, but who's going to install the circuit? Who handles this part? Who does this? Who does that? So we really started to understand as a company that there was a massive need for marrying the two. And again, you don't have to do the connectivity piece with us. We could just do the fixed wireless or just do field services. But there's a huge value. It's definitely symbiotic. It's not just connectivity plus field service work or fixed wireless plus field service work. It's when you combine the two and you have total control of the entire process, and you have optics into the beginning all the way to the end. That's really where the magic happens. And the magic, we all want to make money, but at the end of the day, if the customers aren't happy, and it's all about the last circuit you installed, excuse me, Frankenstein voice coming through. If you're not happy with the last circuit that you ordered from us, then that magic is gone. So our focus as a company is, we're only as good as the last circuit we installed. And invariably that comes down to the field service aspect. So, we're always pushing with our, and by the way, we leverage some financial benefits to combining both of those together, but we won't get into the numbers, but there certainly are, especially with larger rollouts. So, it's the ability to think outside of the box. There are a lot of companies that do just the connectivity part, and they leave it up to your clients to figure out how they're going to actually cross the finish line and get to happiness for the customer. So for us, it's happy customers equals happy and quick revenue for you guys.
All right. And you mentioned during the presentation how you're kind of actively looking for partners. This person wants to know, like, what do you sort of look for? Like, what makes for the best fit in a partner?
Yeah, definitely communication. As much upfront knowledge when we're going into deals together, that's key. Um, Again, we don't want to harp on it. We all want to make money, but the partners that are really focused on client satisfaction, client happiness, for the long-term results. I mean, those are the ones we're looking for.
All right, fantastic. So how does kind of fixed wireless access, in your opinion, how does it compare to traditional wired solutions in terms of like performance and reliability in an SD-WAN rollout?
Do you want me to take that? I'll take that. So
Yeah,
look,
I'll take that.
it is different, but because at the end of the day, when you have a wireline solution, if you have if you're buying a DIA, the bandwidth you're going to get. If you have a mutualized fiber solution, you don't, but the bandwidth is, I guess, is going to be pretty high, is going to be higher. The key to understanding about fixed wireless is actually understanding what the capability is of that wireless solution in the location that you're going to be installing into. So comparably, yeah, we're seeing when we're doing fixed wireless installations, 100 meg, a 200 meg down, 50, 60, 100 meg up, with latencies that are more than acceptable, latencies around sort of anywhere between 30 to 60 milliseconds. So the performance of those circuits is good. The key is to understand the radio frequency environment, and that's part of what we do when we're delivering a solution, is that we're surveying and understanding what that RF environment is like. We're checking and providing information to our customers so that you can pass on to your customer who the best available carrier is in that area to deliver the mission critical applications that you're looking to use that circuit for. So it really is about understanding. It's about using intelligence. This isn't a one size fits all type solution. You really just need to know what you're doing.
All right. And this person wants to know, what are some of the key challenges that businesses face, in your opinion, again, when integrating FWA with SD-WAN? And how can these challenges be addressed?
I think some of the challenges are really about an understanding of what the technology can do and how you can implement it. So a lot of people say, okay, well, look, I'm using a 4G or a 5G backup, and they're either using an integrated modem that's in a piece of equipment that's in the back of a rack, or it's a USB dongle that's plugged somewhere. You need to understand that you've got to respect the radio frequency environment. You've got to respect the built environment. So when you're looking at rolling these things out, you just need to, in your game plan, you need to be looking at, okay, so where are we going to install this kit? So if we're in a retail location and the rack is the back of a store, that's not going to be the best place to install that kit. We need to find a way of getting the modem or the antennas closer to where the signal is and looking at where the cell towers are. That's why you need a specialist. That's why you need someone like SmartCIC to come in and have a look and help and guide you to deliver that. And then once you're building those solutions based on a really good technical implementation, then that builds confidence and trust with your customers. And I think what we've found with some of the larger rollouts that we've done, so we've rolled out 800 petrol stations or gas stations for BP, for example, where we've been rolling out. We rolled out 400 of those things in 6 weeks to allow our customer to be able to monetize an SD-WAN project. It's about really understanding what the environment's like, making sure that the scope included everything that we needed for it to include. So our engineers went with external antennas where it was necessary, with all the right equipment, the health and safety training to go and operate in those type of environments. And then essentially we were rolling that stuff out and bringing those sites up so that our customer could monetize that SD-WAN overlay that they'd sold the customer. So they look good, the customer looked good in front of their internal customers, and we look good.
And I think it's about making sure that as we are agnostic, we'll choose the right type of equipment for the right installation. So about the category modem that you're using, whether it's ruggedized because it needs to go on the outside of the building, or if there are any other constraints. But it's making sure you've got the right piece of kit for the right job, not just taking whatever you think is the right fit and then failing.
It's also about the right carrier, right?
Yeah,
it's also about the right carrier. It's not a one size fits all. This is not about a single multi-IMSI SIM that will work everywhere. We've only got 3 breakouts around the world. This is about finding the right carriers, using local carriers. So for example, in the States, we have relationships with Verizon, AT&T, T-Mobile, and we use their SIMs directly. So the breakout, which is going to be critically important for SD-WAN, from a latency perspective, is not being impacted by SIM profiling or any sort of additional routing overlay that your multi-IMSI SIM providers will put on in order to make sure that they're providing a solution at a price point.
All right, very smart stuff there. A couple technical questions kind of came in. This one person wants to know, what's your actual throughput?
So in terms of, I saw that, Brady. I mean, it depends what they mean. So if you're talking about total data limits, I mean, we have circuits that are in excess of that have a capacity of over 1 terabyte worth of data on a monthly basis. So really, we can build solutions that are based on data capacities that our customers need. What is a good idea is to try and sit down and understand with a customer what that data throughput is likely to be. And then certainly in terms of limits, so if the throughput is around speeds, it depends on what technologies are there. But certainly where we're seeing, across the T-Mobile network in particular, but also Verizon, we're seeing download speeds in the hundreds, so 300, 400, 500. I mean, we've got testing that shows that we're getting, in certain locations, we're having over a gig down. And then certainly we're looking at anywhere between 40 to 300 meg up, depending on the location as well. So again, it comes down to really being able to understand that location, survey that location. We can do that off-site. We don't need to send engineers on site. And then getting our engineers there with the right equipment, with the right SIMs in order to do the installation.
All right. Now, this person specifically references the low Earth orbit, the LEOs. Which ones can you do?
So we have just reached an agreement to be able to provide Starlink services from a connectivity standpoint, but we are also we're accredited installer for OneWeb. There isn't a Starlink accreditation for installation. So really, essentially, we can operate in those with the major players.
Right, that's fantastic. Can you share any kind of examples of industries that have successfully monetized SD-WAN with fixed wireless access?
Yeah, I think that to speak to Toby's question, when we've done the gas stations, this is where they've used the fixed wireless as their overlay for their SD-WAN. They had a thin copper line, very, very thin, because these are all quite remote locations. So they're always a challenge. And actually the fixed wireless was outperforming where they had a fixed line. Maybe they only had a 1 or 2 meg down. that it really wasn't sufficient. But when we came in, we installed our fixed wireless, we were getting 30 to 40 meg down. So that allows the traffic to be shaped accordingly across that cellular. So where those cellulars were going to be the backup connection, they became the primary. So that's a really good indication. The others are in retail, where we've had lots of retail clients who've gone into new suites in shopping malls. It is complicated sometimes to get the connectivity in time. They've got an SD-WAN solution, and we've put in fixed wireless there. Lots of car rental companies as well, such as Avis. They need to be light. They need to work. Every time they're not connecting, then they're losing people to their competitors. So having a backup solution on fixed wireless, but then also that acting as their primary to allow them to shift and to move around, is a real game changer for them. And the time to monetization, as James talked about these guys who have suddenly decided they're going to have a pop-up store. I say suddenly because somebody in a back office has decided they're going to do it months in advance, but the IT department are the last ones to know. Those are where you can win out. They can turn things around really quickly, get the stores up, get the connectivity up, and then work on the fixed line in the back. But it gives a huge amount of flexibility and agility to those clients.
And I think that's the beauty of lift and shift, right? The beauty of lift and shift is that, you take 20 of these units and you're rolling out, you've got a big rollout. We install those units with our engineers. We come in and install. If we meet the performance criteria that we agree with the customer in advance, if that's met, everybody's comfortable, we'll do the migration on that day for that customer. So we'll migrate that circuit onto the SD-WAN platform or whatever platform you want, and then we'll monitor that circuit. Everything will be good. We'll come back out if there's an issue with it. We monitor those circuits intensively for 72 hours anyway, and then everything goes into our standard monitoring. But what's interesting is then when the wireline comes in, so if you got a DIA that's coming in, we can then come in, we can test that DIA for you. We can make sure that everything's good. We can do the swap out from the fixed wireless to the DIA. And then if your customer wants that fixed wireless access to be downgraded to a backup solution, we can do. Or we then lift and shift that to the next site that you're waiting for a DIA to come in. So what you're doing is you're building momentum in those SD-WAN rollout projects, those deployment projects, using fixed wireless access. You're lifting and shifting, and you're monetizing that rollout quicker, and your customers getting that rollout quicker, and you can use it in an intelligent way to overcome some of the bumps in the road that we all know happens in deployments.
And I think that's really a white glove solution. It's about making you look good, about what solution you've sold to your customer, and your customer looking good in front of their customers as well. Really important.
I saw a question about a performance. I think I saw one just on the screen. So performance, we have an interface, so we can check the performance. We're monitoring the radio frequency environment in real time of every single site that we've installed. We can run remote speed tests on those sites as well, using the equipment we have, the CPEs that we have. So we can provide regular updates on what the performance of those circuits are. All our equipment comes with dual SIM. So we always have a failover SIM, a backup SIM in the back. So if something happens, we can get connected to that device, do what we need to from a triage perspective. And then using the 25,000 engineers that we have around the world, we build SLAs with our customers. I mean, James has said, our highest SLA in the world is 1.5 hours to site for Aldi stores. With equipment, we do exactly the same thing. We'll build that SLA with you and the customer. And then if we need to, we have an engineer on site. So it's treated in exactly the same way as it would be with wireline.
All right. And it doesn't matter 4G, 5G, right?
No, not at all. Absolutely. It just depends where you are and what that signal is. Now, obviously in the States, we know that LTE sucks to a certain extent, but there are carriers out there that are optimizing their networks. There are non-standard 5G networks out there that are increasing in capacity. And then you've got the standalone, you've got T-Mo with more standalone sites than pretty much anybody else from a 5G perspective. So definitely the performance is increasing, and the performance will only increase as investment continues. So the ability to be able to use these disruptive technologies to be able to deliver value for customers is increasing all the time.
All right, and we were talking about 5G. What role does that play in enhancing the potential of fixed wireless access within an SD-WAN deployment?
I mean, essentially, from a technical perspective, it's going to increase speed, right? Because fixed wireless technology, the 5G allows for greater speeds and lower latencies. And certainly, if you're trying to mirror the performance of a wireline solution, that's what you're looking for. You're looking for greater stability. So the way in which the radio signals are hitting those antennas, those radios, and that data is moving into the back end, into the core, is substantially different than it is with LTE, without getting into technical details. So the technology is trying to overcome some of the saturation issues that you can get within LTE deployments and 4G deployments. And then basically the speed. So the speed is improving dramatically. So your latencies are coming down from sort of 60 to 90 milliseconds to, certainly in some of the testing that we've been doing around the world and in the US, we're seeing latencies that are sub 10 millisecond latencies. And those are sort of DIA type latencies. You couple that with the speed, you couple that with the ability to deploy quickly if you have a delivery platform like ours. It makes for a very, very compelling solution and a disruptive play.
All right. And lastly, this person wants to know about the security. Like, how can companies ensure security?
At the end of the day, sorry, James, I'll let you go first if you want.
No, just across different regions.
So, I mean, in terms of security, the solutions themselves are carrier grade. This is carrier grade connectivity, and then essentially we're providing an internet access. So we lock our routers down, so you aren't able to attack those routers. A lot of the connections are double natted anyway from the carriers, so we're looking at aggressive VPN building from within the customer edge. So inherently those solutions are more secure.
All right, very good. And I think that's going to do it for the Q&A portion. Nothing new seems to be coming in. So let me just say, I think technology, perfect for Halloween, really. This kind of technology can be really scary for organizations, So I want to thank the three of you for helping to ease our minds in a lot of ways and open our minds to new possibilities. So that is going to do it for the webinar portion. I want to thank SmartCIC's Toby Foreman, Catherine Hemingway, and James Marsh. Thank you all three of you for your time here today. Like I said, really illuminating.
Thank you very much. And look, we're looking forward to be at CV Expo in Scottsdale in a couple of weeks' time.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Of course. Yeah, no, thank you. So just so you guys know, if you missed any part of this webinar, you can find it as well as other past Channel Vision presentations on demand by visiting our website at channelvisionmag.com. We were talking about CVX Expo. Let me real quick get through this plug. So CVX Expo 24, of which SmartCIC is proudly a gold sponsor, it returns November 12th through 14th for the third year running at the Talking Stick Resort in Scottsdale, Arizona. Come visit SmartCIC at booth 5000. CVX attendees and exhibitors include TSDs, MSPs and resellers, trusted advisors and consultants, and wholesale communications, cloud solution, business IT, and security providers. And all-inclusive ticket grants channel partners access to everything the event has to offer. And for more information, you can visit cvxexpo.com. And once again, from all of us at Channel Vision Magazine, from our good friends with SmartCIC, happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween.
Take care.